discover a world of magic and steam technology. An alternate London where mythical creatures coexist with humans. Explore the city's East End and get to know its inhabitants. There are powerful figures here with enough wealth and station to bend the city to their will. But be careful. The Docklands aren't for the faint of heart.
I'm not streaming on Twitch. What I am doing is recording this for YouTube. Greetings, my dear friends. Welcome to Sovereign Syndicate. I played the demo for this last year. I was going to say earlier this year, but there's not much earlier this year. But this has just recently been released. I've been wanting to get into it for a while. And here we are. Let us begin. Follow Atticus Daley as he explores the seedy underbelly of London's East Docklands in search of his mother, a reason for living, and his next fix. Alrighty. Archetype selection, that was a thing from before. Self-discipline, wit, spryness, and animal instinct. I think I'm going to go with wit. I like wit. Continue. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person, and I missed the rest of that. Bugger. A dark shape looms over you. Against the guttering lamplight, the black-shadowed form hovers unsteadily like a cutout in a magic lantern. You can't be sure whether it's a real living thing or another grim manifestation from your week-long bender, which at first blush you appear to have survived. Or is it the face of death come to claim you? In any case, the spectre seems to be in no hurry to move along. Painful memories prick your gin-addled brain. Now you recall why you're here. You chose this alleyway in London's East End to drown the last of your days in drink. Well, if this apparition isn't the angel of death, then even at suicide you have failed. Old crone.
Atticus, he's coming, wake up!
Get out of my head, you old crone! Atticus Daley. Nothing but a dark silhouette for a face. No, it's a mask. Self-reflection. His voice is cold and mechanical, like the hinge of a heavy iron door, concealing his identity, no doubt. I shall try to speak. Who are you? Instead of a response, he proffers me a tin stippled flask. Nice that they've got tooltips that explain slightly archaic language. A small kindness. I will take it eagerly. I've been hoping for the hair of a dog, but alas, it's only the chloric bite of London tap water. But still, +10 hope, that's always good. Hair of the dog, an alcoholic drink meant to cure a hangover. Will get you drunk enough again that you don't notice it. Better than a parched mouth, and at least a bit restorative, according to self-discipline. Spryness. Stirring the flask, the stranger leans back into the dim light of the gas lamps. I can finally see his features in full. He wears a brass-buttoned travelling waistcoat, complete with a scarlet hood and a mask of ornate gold panels. It glitters in the gaslight, delicately crafted. Finery like I've never seen. On your feet now, you sorry sight. Dizzy from the head rush, it's hard to keep my balance. Who are you, and what do you want with me? A friend in need of your services. A friend, but a man of his station so deep in the docklands spells trouble. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. But I need a moment to get my bearings. Fair enough, but I'll be watching. The stranger pulls back his waistcoat, showing off a gilded flintlock pistol, which is of course a handheld firearm with a flint-striking ignition mechanism. Over the years, many a minge bag have come to collect. This balmy naff's no different. Despicable person, minge bag. I kinda like minge bag. This unstable or mentally unwell, contemptible person who is lacking in taste and style. Yes. So many outstanding debts and foregone second chances. Is it all catching up to me? No matter. Let it be tonight, then. Hey dear, that's, he's low on hope. So yes, choices in conversation can change your hopeometer, which is at 35. Weary. Come now, surely things aren't so dire. Task started, old crone. It's up to me, seeing every impulse to an outcome, snuffing out the pleasures of life, should I so desire. Can't hardly focus on pleasure in such a state. There are far too many voices in my head. You might escape that stranger behind that padlocked door. The voices, on the other hand, are another matter entirely. Let's check out the journal, shall we? The masked stranger waiting. I'll need my trusty cane sword. And hold fast to your sanity. Find out who the crone is before she drives you mad. Chatter in my mind is enough by itself, and now there's a crone chiming in. What is she doing here, and how'd you get in my head? That seems a question. An evening cane concealing a steel blade and a cherrywood sheath. Below the brass figurehead is a band of crushed velvet. Bow-scarred and with a well-worn handle, and suitable in aristocratic circles. I will take the cane with me. I should really keep better track of my belongings, even on a gin bender. Check out my inventory. Cane sword. Very groovy. I like it. Now, areas of interest. Explore the world around you to help to discover helpful items on your journey. East London hides many secrets. Press and hold the highlight hotspots button, tab by default, to highlight areas of interest. Oh, newspaper. The Illustrated London News, this week's edition. A fleet-footed journalist takes to the East End, underground and undercover, the hard-boiled scoop on the courtesan killer. Who's really behind the murders, and what is Scotland Yard still hiding from the public? Read on for the gory details. This story will boil your blood. Ah yes, Scotland Yard. Basically the police. Let's ponder the news. Your inner voices are at odds. When you choose one voice over another, this changes the balance of your humours. Over time, these voices become stronger. Okay. It's a shame. No one deserves to die like that. That's true. And I've kept her company before. It could have been an acquaintance of mine. Ariana? I'd surely hope not, but it's been a while. I should check on her. Jolly's being hunted. It is rather curious. Let's investigate the murders. I'm no police special, but I'll see what I can find. Liquor bottles. Geneva, Rotgut, and dry gin bottles are strewn about, broken and empty. Wager those are remnants of a day drowned in sorrow. Feels like ages ago. Sooner or later I'll have to untether myself from alcohol's allure. Let's just see just how many of those bottles I emptied. Okay, to make a skill check, you will draw from one of the 4 minor arcana decks. Each deck contains cards numbered from 1, the ace, to 14, the king. They also contain the world, which will always succeed a skill check, and the fool, which will always fail and then reshuffle the deck. Alrighty, that's good to know. Okay. Aha. Saving the best for last, a bottle of Old Tom. Excellent. What is Old Tom? A feast for the finest palate. Sheer bottled health for your indulgence. +5 hope. Fair enough. Let's check this herring basket up here, because it's there to check out. A slatted wooden basket made from hazel cuttings. Willow branches weave around the bottom for support. Might belong to someone in the tenements. I can smell the rotting fish from here, several days past its prime. I will lean in. Let's have a look. White strips of White strips of flesh swing in a pool of decomposition. Kippered herring? Could be. Let's open it. Wahey, more success. The acrid smell brings tears to my eyes, but somehow my stomach doesn't empty itself out. More self-discipline. Critical with the world. In for a penny, in for a pound. Tossing the congealed skin onto the street, I land on something round and flat with milled edges. And it's not just the one. As opposed to smooth edges, coins with ridges prevented the crime of shaving off pieces to make new ones. Yes, that's why we have ridges on our coins today. A couple of coins and some spoiled herring. I should probably bathe at the earliest opportunity. Maybe not a terrible idea, but now I've got 2 pence. Nice that they're using the old pounds, shilling and pence thing, which has never made sense to me, but it's still nice they're doing it. Can't help it, I like metric money. Eating this will almost surely make me sick. -10 hope. Well, let's not eat it. Why would Atticus Daley even consider such a thing? He must be a hungry, hungry Minotaur. You certainly wouldn't want to be eating something like that when you're hungover. Okay, vagrants. I'll speak with those vagrants after I investigate this missing poster. Julian Bertram O'Brien, orphans missing from Sacred Heart Orphanage. Small reward furnished upon any information leading to their safe return. Please have a heart for our poor children, Sisters of the Sacred Heart, 22 Cherrywine Lane, East End, London. Arms accepted. I remember this place. But I'd rather not think about it. Brother and sister gone missing from where I was brought up. Being an orphan like myself, or being an orphan myself, should I be the one to investigate? There are unsettled spirits in the docklands, and like it or not, I play a part in their pageantry. Hopefully not as some marionette with strings to pull for their amusement. Then I should leave no cobble unturned. We shall search for the missing orphans. It's the right thing to do. And something's not right here, and orphans in the docklands need all the help they can get. And since I was one, and such... Hello, lads. 3 rootless souls taking their ease in the heat of a steam vent. One of the few free comforts to be had in old London town. This one is Poe Pickett. Drifts around the city so much it's hard not to know him. Might not remember me, though. Hold a damn dash, that landlord. Bloody meter refuses to fix the heat in my abode. Meter, a coward. And mutton shunters cast me out on the bricks like flicking an ant off a slave. Mutton shunters, police officers. Okay. The unfortunate's companions huddle for warmth, their tattered garments splashed with ale stains. These men are dusty, perpetually so. Not that I miss the old quarters, no, with the endless boiler double troubles. There's not much warmer in there than out here. He looks at me askance, whether his mood still needs thawing. Oi, horns! If you're not handing out hot meals, bugger off! Talking takes thinking, and I ain't got a lot of that to spare, in case you didn't notice. Okay. Look at him, Minotaur, his eyes are just as bad as his ears. Like I said the first time, unless you've got a morsel for old Poe, just bugger off! You want some herring? Will this do? What the devil is this? You're trying to send me 6 feet under? Wait, you're nothing but a jester. Worth a try. Gears and cogs. Spare parts for machines glittering in the gas lamps. Handy for small repairs and worth a few bob to an engineer. Let's gather them. Might prove useful. We can't interact with this fellow who's writhing on the ground in perhaps pain. Maybe he's just very drunk. Some wayward cartwright abandoned their wagon here. Beyond it, tenements and a dead end. He's got me hemmed in. You bastard, masked stranger. Haha! Atticus can run. Sort of. Trot, anyway. Containment fence. That doesn't sound good. Military grade reinforced with barbed wire. The sign reads Werewolf Containment Zone in luminescent paint. Electric bolts arc between the fence posts, the smoky ozone scent flooding your nostrils. The moon won't be full for another 2 nights. It might be safer inside instead of at the whim of this stranger in his brocade waistcoat. No harm in a look. Silk wrapped cables running into a switch box. That must be the power source. No engineer, but I might be able to power down the fence from that switch box over to my left. Well. More gears and cogs. Worth a little tin if you deal them to an engine man. Might prove useful. Switch box. Let's try and crack the padlock, shall we? Bugger. It's stuck in the mechanism, so you'll need a tool to remove it, or else you could bash it in, but it's pretty well jammed. Cane sword time. Bugger again. Pox on this ruddy box. Now it's all smashed and I might never open it. I wouldn't advise that, but with the right tool you can still pry it open. Nothing for now. Better move on. Bugger. Okay. Well, let's head into the Palladium. Last night's hard to recall. Bodily aches suggest they threw me out around closing time. Seems reasonable. Oh. We can't go in. Well, looks like we're heading to the overground station. It's the witching hour, so of course the trains aren't running. No escape from the stranger this way. Well, padlock it is then. As it is literally the only thing we can interact with that isn't the masked stranger. A heavy door that's blocking my escape from the stranger. There's an oxidized chain and a padlock over the asp. Should be a soft job so long as this lock isn't rusted through. Well, let's try picking it first. Hands are a bit shaky, but let's have a go. Shit. Never had a knack for this fine motor work. Better play to my strengths. Let's break the damn thing. Shit again. Blast! I've got it open, but I've done myself a mischief. Skin my knuckles is all, but I don't imagine that lock can ever be used again either. Wonder where this passage goes. Away from that stranger's enough for me. The passage is lined with stone walls, damp from the evening fog, and the underground steam boiler used to heat the tenements above. Barrels line the walls and seem to occupy every available space in this underground storeroom. Cane rats scurry and squeak in the corners, kneading at their nests. The air is stagnant, full of dust and mould. Must? No, dust. A ways off, there's the sound of a pump house at work, no doubt channeling sewage into the Thames. There's a dim light ahead. Perhaps you can find help, or at least a way out of the stranger's grasp.
On your guard now, no telling what's down here.
I've seen the worst of the underground in my days. If trouble comes, I've got my blade and a silver tongue. Okay. We've got a sleeping thug here. A 30-something cove writhing on the cobbles. Must have had his fill. If he was on guard, easy now to get by him. We'll bash his head in. Might be safer that way. Yeah, but he's only shickered beyond reason. Besides, maybe I know him. Can't remember his face, but that's one thundering night terror he's having. Anything in his pockets? Let's have a look. Shit! I'm not good at this. Reach into his pockets, but he's turning over and he just mumbled something in his sleep. Back off. Don't wake him. Almost woke him up. Too risky to rob him now. Bugger. Red cedar panelled and cornered with iron, a sturdy but time-worn container. No need to break into everything. What am I, Minotaur or Magpie? Break into it anyway. Bugger it. There we go. Bully, that felt right. It's been too long since I broke something. There's only that gin bibber who might have heard the noise, but he's too blithe to pay us any mind. And what great treasure is this? Trousers with a bib sewn across, and a pulley zipper fastening. The head torch runs on a copper coil battery, there's boots and breeches, and the waistcoat has enough pockets to carry a dining set. To be sure, it's a sandog uniform. Let's try it on. So what if I tear the seams? It's not like someone's missing this pile of rags. The shoulder flaps will have to hang loose, my chest being too wide to snap the buttons down the placket. Let us force it and fail. Torso belts break from their loops and shred the fabric. No way of wearing this now. Shit! Dolores might be able to fix it, but that means a trip to Red Lantern Lane. This could be a sign to lay off the swill for a while. Aye, maybe so. The source of many troubles. But if I quit outright, I'll keel over. Better start with one less drink a day. One less a day, I can handle that. Don't be so sure. The naysayers will gab as they please, but I'm ready to change. Enough maundering. Let's get on with it. Indeed. No further maundering, Atticus. You've stolen and broken everything you can. A disc of raw iron loosened by a crack. Could be somebody's hiding place. I bet the cover's bull heavy. Let's try and lift it. Shit! I need the right tool, then I can slide it free. gears and cogs. Spare bits and bobs from a clockwork engine. I could hawk these to an engineer. Might be useful. Some rope. Length of braided horsehair, stale and hardly saleable. I can use this to get the manhole cover off. It's in a bad state, but it might work with a proper tie. It's brittle, but it should do the trick. And check the mouldy crate, because it's there. A battered crate, mouldering in the sewer grime. Smash it open! Shit! A well-aimed fist cracks open the crate, but a hobnail gashes my wrist on the way out. It's nothing but a scratch. The real trouble is the rising dust. Don't cough. Someone will come and beat the bushes. Self-discipline. Succeeded. Beating back the convulsion, I managed to keep breathing. Any more looting like this and I'll need a face mask. If I meet another Minotaur, they might have a spare. A lot of us live in the underground. Enough rumination, let's see what's in the crate. Can't hardly see what I'm reaching for, but here goes. Nothing in here but a cold piece of metal. It's a pry bar. This'll do for that manhole cover. I think it might also do for the werewolf thing. Gate, fence. We'll try the rope first. Yeah, figured as much. Well, the rope died. This rope is too brittle, it tears into pieces when I try to make a knot. And I pulled a 1. Wedging the pry bar into the gap, the cover drops suddenly, pinning my fingers. Biting a pain's bullet, I toss the cover aside and shake out my throbbing hand. There's a latched compartment below the manhole cover, but it's padlocked too tightly to break. It's a capital lock, I'll need a key. There has to be something in here. My fumbling hand comes up empty. How about I reach back in the corners? Stone the crow's bloody cane rat bit me. Must have a nest. No chance that rat's getting the best of me. Except that rat's getting the best of me. Steeling myself, I reach inside again. Another bite, and a deep one. Ah! Cane rat's squatting on some bit of treasure, but I better bow out, he's too aggressive. Shit! Down to 5 hope. That's not good. Watch it, there's somebody on the stairs. With that head torch, he could be on patrol. I don't suppose he takes kindly to trespassers. He's coming double quick, where can I hide? There's a pool of shadow at the back of this hallway. I'll fight him if I have to. His face is filthy, mud-streaked and unshaven, and his head torch is near as bright as daylight down here. He smells worse than the sewer walls. Must be a bilgeman. Oi, what's a bovine doing down this way? You fucking bastard. You better scram before I call the hounds. You're trespassing. Better lie, it's safer. Looking for the exit. Through this way, yeah? First had a slow chuckle, then like a snow-laden bough suddenly taken by the wintry gust, the bilgeman begins to laugh with his whole heart. You must think sewer workers are dull as a great pile of overhanded coins. We might spend half our life underground, but we haven't gone to Earth. He doesn't seem upset about being lied to. In fact, there's a twinkle in his eye. Now then, since you've brightened my evening with your buffoonery, how about telling me why you're really down here? At least he was amused. I might as well tell the truth. Running from an headhunter, lurking upstairs, and he's far more dangerous than you could ever be. I swiftly draw the cane sword. Point me out of this cesspool, just a finger in the right direction. My blade harkens blood should he try anything smart. Alright, if you follow this passage, there's a grate that needs refastening. Been meaning to fix it, but aside from the way you came, I swear it's the only exit. At last, a decent answer from a less than decent man. Sure as sight. Sorry I stopped you. I'll just have a squeeze by, I suppose. Be seeing ya. Well, I think I want to try and open the power box. There's no escaping the stranger underground. Now with your energy waning, a tonic and pipe sit is all you can imagine to restore your spirits. The return to the alley is murky and pungent, calling back too many hard nights to count. Better get a move on before that fancy Jack in the Mask comes crawling. But supposing you can throw him off balance somehow, you might still escape. Even so, this thought only brings to mind all the other headhunters. If only your debts weren't so overwhelming, they wouldn't seem to follow you around like a cloud of poison. Well, switch box. This pry bar should do the trick. And it fecking didn't. What the hell? Bollocks. If that didn't work, I'm not sure what will. Perhaps I'm better off not meddling with this. Okay. Back to the warehouse. Steamer trunk, what's in that? Brass-banded travelling trunk with sturdy corners, fit for a long voyage. It's out of place down here. There's tin inside, I'm sure of it. But the padlock has a carbon steel shackle and pin tumblers triple reinforced. Let's try to pick the lock. Finally we succeed. With a raspy click, the tumblers find the shear line, but as soon as I turn the cylinder, the entire plug slides out. Okay. Blast. There's a catch on the inside, but no way of reaching it. I could try to force it, but I'd better not make a bloody racket. Why not? That bilgeman is gone now. No one else to worry about, is there? Let's try to break it open. Easily enough. Channeling the sum total of my physical strength, my amethyst thuds pitifully against the deadbolt. But at least I've asserted myself. Always good to get the blood pumping. Now the pry bar. Little bit of extra hope. Huzzah. Okay. Jeremiah's gin added. What's this? A bottle of gin I've yet to try. The fates have been kind for once. Especially kind, for they also provided me with lots of capital. £2! My God, that's a ton of money. And a few cigarettes to round out the package. Bully, it's not every day you get this stuff for free. Okay. Cool. Now let's speak with the furnace automaton. Speak up, who disrupts the air? I'm a famous magician, but in the underground you mustn't have heard of me. I love magic. Whenever I bend the heat to a proper boil, sometimes I fancy myself a firemancer. My name's Hera. The letters H-E-R-A are blazoned on its chest plate. What does Hera stand for? Heat Energy Regulation Automaton, the latest iteration. Hera, wife of Zeus. In any case, it suits you. I'm thrilled to hear it. Now, can I help you? I should get back to the flame. Tell me about the barrels. What are they filled with? Oh, well, they're filled with gin. The hounds are distilling it with the heat from my boiler. And somehow the Shorelock tenements upstairs haven't caught on. Those people must be freezing. It's only autumn now, but it feels like midwinter. I'd rather have the extra gin, brings down the price. We can always deal with a little cold. A lot of my help came up from those tenements. Couldn't face stockhounds alone. It's hard enough keeping my own head above water. I won't be easily swayed. Bootlegging's a regular tin press. What else do you know about the gin barrels? The steam gets siphoned and the barrels come and go. Some are fresh and some have stood for several months, ready for a swiller. The machine is keeping track. Automatic circuits indeed. When the flame is healthy, I turn my attention to the walls, and before I know it, I'm wearing away. It's a queer feeling. Queer meaning something slightly different to what it does now, but yes. If the hounds are stealing steam, and it's good reason to steal some of their bootleg for myself. I'm not fit with a virtual circuit, but if you've convinced yourself you're clear of any moral infidelity, where would I find a barrel that's aged a few months? Behind the furnace is something of a staging area. That's where the battle reels get carried out. Have a look for yourself, but I must get back to work. Okay. Well, we can go to the sewers. Let's do that. Edging through the grate, you're greeted by the droning sound of rushing water and a smell that's near unbearable, hanging in the air so thick you can almost taste it. Hooves are clumsy in the dark as you stumble along the passageway, the sound of water flow and machinery echoing off the bricks from all directions, a meshing of gears that's familiar but unsettling. Following the light, you come into a torchlit chamber, but it seems you're not alone. Notes of troubled voices peek over the noise, an air of indignance and irritation, but also of fear and desperation. Something's not right here. You stumbled on an argument, no doubt, but worse than that is a deep foreboding. Something else shares these sewers, a deeper evil crawling through the bowels of London. Going to have a quick break because I need coffee. I'll be back. I'm back, and we're in the sewers. The blocked passage over here. Welter of bricks and rotting planks blocking the way through. No sense dulling my cane sword for this. I'll run into more daunting obstacles, just have to give this a wide berth. Okay. A patrolman up ahead. Don't flex a muscle. Who's that creeping in the shadow light? State your business. A Cyclops with a pike spade, standard issue for sewer work. This area's off limits, layman. Besides, you're not dressed for it. He's full of piss and vinegar, but also full of poppycock. I'll wager his authority is in a claim and nothing more. Already have the stranger to worry about. Am I up to challenging this lanky bloke as well? Okay. I will apologise and ask for the way out. Ooh, spryness is increased to level 2. Pardon me, I was just looking for the way out, sir. Captain of the pump house, that is. Pardon me, Captain. But as I said, I'm just looking for the way out. Don't mean to trespass. Sorry, mate. Nowhere to go but the way you came. Dash it all! But if he does know the lay of the land, then it might be worth a few more questions. Let's ask about the argument. Understood, Captain. Now about that scuffle down below. Well, the tall fellow holds weight with the arm, so I shouldn't like to interfere. Well, surely there's another way out. Perhaps toward the pump house. Off limits. Besides, she's locked down for maintenance. If I were you, I'd head up street side before the morning doves. Alright then, Captain. I'll just be on my way. The pump house captain breathes a sigh of relief, eager to get back to his patrol. A barrel perches on the ledge while the argument rages. I can hide up here and watch the dispute. Let us do so. Let's have a listen. You'll pad me pockets till I say die. He's hounding this poor girl for capital. Only a ladsman would stoop so low. A criminal teaching children how to steal in exchange for a cut of profits and or other assistance such as safe lodging. Fagin. Basically, if you know your Dickens, and if so, then she must be a cut-purse.
I'm sick of stealing, and I'm sore of begging all the more. It's shameless.
Pity, but the odds are in his favour. The poor girl's got strapping tape holding her boots together. Let's intervene quickly. Better think fast. What can I do from here? A barrel teeters at the edge. It'll sure distract him if it doesn't smash him dead. A fine idea. It's ludicrous, but I like it. Ah, good success. Heavy lugger too. Must be full of moonshine. Catching him dead in the chest, he's off his feet. The cut-purse watches the old badger wash away. What a shot! Come along down here so I can say thanks. Alright, be down in a moment. Cool, more hope. A bit more hope is always a good thing. I want those gears and cogs too. Dingy spot in which to find such bits and bobs. I hardly doubt anyone's coming back for them. I can hand these over to an engine man. Might prove useful. Might indeed. Hello, cut-purse. Dead-eye with a barrel, eh? You've no idea what a bad knee was. One less double-dealing scoundrel. Glad to be rid of him. Thanks for the assistance. My name's Annika Johansson. Pleased to be acquainted. I'm Atticus Daley. That lout did show us how to make a living, but there was never any future for us, so I'm thinking of joining a circus that travels around Europe. I loved a circus when I was younger. Snuck in through the back fence where the animals were kept. I'm not sure if I love it, but it seems to be a way out. A sadness in her voice, like a heavy rain at sea, damp and in the bones. What's your talent, then? Throwing knives, where the wheel is spun and a living target is skillfully avoided. I practiced with Bertram till he disappeared. Now I don't know whether to look for him or leave the city. What about London? Nothing here for me now. What is it you still need my help with? It's about Bertram. If he's alive, I'd like to say goodbye before I leave with the circus. Bertram, a close friend? My best in the city. If he's alive, I'd like to say goodbye before I leave with the circus. Well, if you don't get to the bottom of it, you might regret it forever. Advice I should have taken myself. That's right. There was a woman once. When I was living in Galway. No, it's too painful, besides the girls starting to stare. Animal instinct has increased to level 13. Ah, so that must have been level 11 then before for the other thing. Sir, you were drifting off there. Only a momentary lapse, I assure you. Is there any chance you'd help me find Bertie? He went missing along with his sister Julie. Bloody hell, why not? Oh, thank you, Mr. Daley. It isn't much, but take these cogs for your troubles. I'll see what I can find for myself, and then I'll meet with you and we can share information like police specials. Bully, that'd make a fine detective. Bertram and I were living down here, but now the water's too high to get to our hidey hole. With so many of us missing, I'd better move on anyway. What about the hidey hole? We had a little safe house behind the retaining wall, but now with the pump house being serviced, the water's too high to get there. I wish I could help, but I'm not much good with engineering. No worries, thanks anyway. You're still welcome to anything we left in there. How can I find you should we need to meet again? Here, have my card. Take my visiting card in case you need to get in touch with me. I'm not often home, but you can leave a message with Anselina in the shop below me quarters. Of course, Mr. Daley. Together I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of this. I'm sure we will. Excuse me. Through the hall is a chorus of machinery, the torpid crank of some heavy clockwork, the chittering of a telegraph, and the ever-present rumble of steam in the walls. The archway is fit with a blast door that's been left open, a control room for the pump house, no doubt. Well, let's have a look at this control panel over here. The needles quiver from the pressurized steam in the brass pipes. Tosher, eh? Go and dig through the bilge then. These controls are worth more than your life. A hunter of valuables in the sewers. He has a grizzled face and a world-weary slump to his shoulders, yet there's still a spark in his eyes. Might be a good fellow to know. Let's check the locker. A wooden locker with steel dowels and bolts, embossed with the seal of the senior service. Well, the engineer won't mind. I'll straighten him out if he does. Despite the squeaky hinges, he didn't hear a thing. Look at all these bottles. It's full of liquor. I'll have to be quick about it. And I was. McGrady's gin added to inventory. Blind as a beetle, that engineer. Must have got lucky. I won't chance it again. Okay, now crank handle. Can I interact with it, or do I need to speak with the engineer? Does some heavy lifting this. I wonder what it does. Let's give it a turn. There go, it's catching on some unseen sprocket. Oh, I can force it. No I can't. I'll have a heart attack if I keep at this. Okay. Engineer. Machinery doesn't sleep, Tosha. Let me do my duties in peace. Make a decent impression out of the gate. Better make a decent impression out of the gate, or he mightn't spare me any time. Sorry to barge in like this. Level 19 wit. As you should be. This is no place for surprises. Out with it. Now that I have his attention, let's see if I can earn his trust. Well, let's ask about the barrels. I caught more than a few whiffs of liquor on my way down. What is it, bootlegging the barrels? That's an idea. See now, what's your name? I smell an opening and some wassailing to boot. Atticus Daley. Pleased to meet you. And I'm John Teller. Say, I've got it figured. Minotaurs have keen noses, so you must have sniffed out the liquor in me locker. Same as what's in the barrels. Fetch us a few bottles, and I'll finish my readings, and we'll have a drink. Sounds like we're plunging into a pool of firewater. Okay. Okay, go on. He offered you a drink. It'd be rude to refuse. Let's see if this liquor's any good. Now that I've stolen some of it anyway. I could use a drink. The sewer stench is muddling my thoughts, and I need some clarity. Besides, a few sips with the engineer should get him talking. There's a good man. Let's have a taste. Have a drink. To your health, Teller. Sometimes it's a good idea to get hammered with people. What do you think? The flavour's right. A banquet for the senses. That's a spirit. Let's have another. I'll be damned, that's quite good. We're of a piece then. Got this purity from a ramshackle distillery. Coppers keep busting them up before anyone can own it down. If I gush about the gin too much, then he might start yattering about the distillation process. Yeah, it's beyond wonderful. Only medicine that ever did me any good. I've been watching how the hounds are doing it. When work's slow, the pump house captain and I have a couple drinks, and I marvel at the vats in the pump house. There's a dreamy glow in his eyes. With the tin and gumption, I'd leave these dials to some other cove. If I had my own stills, I'd mix up liquor mothers had used to feed their babes. Not a good idea. Don't feed your babies gin. But a dream's only a dream till you follow it, eh? Oh, you'll do it someday. Ah, the allure of ambition. Still, pride can make a man fiendish. Now then, want to hear about that ladsman? He's referring to the quarrel down below. As it happens, I took care of him. Blood and thunder, bold of you to step in. But just a minute, you're not a copper's narc, are you? He looks rather serious, like the gin's wearing off. Can't stand a copper. Glad to hear it. One more question. That crank atop the stairs, what's it for? Controls the sluice gate, raising and lowering water down below, but that peaky bastard always jams up. Good thing I won't need it until the pump house operational again. Well, Mr. Teller, I've kept you long enough. Don't tell anyone I gave you a free sample. Okay. Don't think this is going to... Yeah. Let's hope the engineer can get it working again. Indeed. Oh, flask. What is that flask? Somebody had a bottle back here. Looks like a nostrum. A purportedly effective medicine available without prescription. Smells rather dangerous, at least to the inexperienced. Might be useful. Ah, it's a flask of laudanum. Well, Gilbert's laudanum cordial, opium, 1.6 grams per grains per fluid ounce, may be habit forming. Permitted for medicinal use by Gilbert's legal representatives. And because it is probably quite profitable. Oh, Atticus is content. That's nice of him. Must be all the booze he just had. A monstrous door of high carbon steel, no way through without a key or a high explosive. Bell end, if only it was open. Expletive signifying contempt. No, it's actually part of a male anatomy. That's what it actually is. Must lead to an even murkier chamber. Dreary and dangerous, just my cup of tea. Ah, negative hope. Meh. Still content. In any case, it's a dead end, and the masked fellow's waiting upstairs. If he could extract me from a 20-league gin sleep, then he must have already had my number. No escape from the stranger this way. You'll need a key for the door. Honestly, I think I'm fairly buggered. Yeah, there was no escape in the sewers. Only more danger you've narrowly dodged. But it's nothing so ghastly as what might become of you at the hands of the stranger. You hardly ever see a handheld firearm in the Docklands. That means he's come from afar to track you down, and he won't give up easily. And what of this old crone mumbling in your mind? Will another gin slumber put a seal on her words, or is she now more than a figment? Is she in step with your pulse and your heartbeat, so deeply rooted you might never escape her raspy chattering? By the break of morning you should have some answers, but until then you stumble on the cobbles half-woken, the hangover clawing your skull like a prisoner in bondage. Well, now I'm here. Bollocks. Oi, Picket. Just bugger off. Right. The crone can't keep her mouth shut. Well, no, clearly not. Damn anti-werewolf fence. I mean, fair enough, you got to keep the werewolves out. Well, nothing else for it. Let's go and deal with this masked stranger. He's waiting with a cold stare in a hand on his flintlock. All done mucking about down there. About time. How do you know that? The smell, most likely. Yeah, you can smell it on me. You might say he's hiding something, perhaps some mystical talent not unlike my own. Right then, you ruddy sight, let's get going. We'll need you batting on a full wicket. Shall I let him ragdoll me around East London? Not a chance. With my stature, I should get the best of him. Still, it's a question of speed and dexterity. I take a big swing at him, but he dodges deftly. Even so, I make a pass at his handgun. But he swats me away like I was a child. You can't shake me off, I'm not one of your debts. The soldier's cold and steely gaze. He must have seen combat. Scores of bodies like I can't imagine. Whatever thoughts were crossing my mind are frozen in place. Like watching a busy intersection warp into slow motion and then hold entirely still. I cannot even think about what it means to think. Fine then, I'll go along willingly, but if I'm to meet my end, please spare me the pain of it. I'm glad we understand each other. Where are you taking me? Somewhere you'll be more comfortable. I'd rather not suffer any more than I have to. But at some point you'll tell me what you're planning. There's no time for dawdling. Bellend, he hasn't any conscience. Yeah, he's a bit of a dick, isn't he? If it seems like London left you behind, humour me for the evening. Otherwise, I'll deliver the bounty on your head, and I won't have wasted any time. Your headache rages with a fierce second wind, and every step is a hammer and nail in your psyche. The stranger's reckless pace only makes matters worse, his arm like a vice grip, dragging you down a maze of twisted alleyways, until at last a string of paper lanterns appears. Boys in a sickening sea of night, the cherry glow of Red Lantern Lane. Within waves of jasmine and sandalwood incense, memory washes fear away. This might be the only place that could convince you to keep on living, even just for a night. The gas mantle above the door fills you with fondness, cleansing the rust of your mind, gouging hangover. You've arrived at the Red Lotus Inn, the only place you've ever felt at home. No need to be pulled along now, you'd go inside willingly. Happy now? Body aches and a deep uncertainty in the bones. It's hard to be happy like this. Allow me to rephrase. Have you ever been happy? Many years ago. And what of those memories? I should let them go, but how? Watch the feelings bubble up from the past to a soul seated in simple observation. All emotion is water, solid when frozen by resentment, boiling when enraged, and fluid when at peace. Accept the pain and do not let the mind attach to it. There's nothing else I haven't tried. This might be rock bottom. Withdrawals, they can muddle our heads and make us weak. Don't worry, you'll feel better soon. And now that we are in a relatively safe place, let us end this session. The journey of Atticus Daley will continue, and I believe there are 2 other playable characters in this full version of this game. So, plenty more fun and tarot card related weirdness instead of die rolls, which I kinda like, honestly, to mess around with. Anyway, farewell for now, and I shall see you again.